world's greatest Canadian wizard. It's a beautiful, warm winter's day in the United States. Unlike Canada, where it's cold and bitter and wet and drizzly. And in Alaska, they're thinking, you know what? I'm just going to stay home until August. And in northern Ontario, they're thinking, I think I'll go chase me down a caribou before the wolves get it. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about your fighting arts are wrong today. Let's talk about episode 12. Let's talk about your Batman is wrong. And there's a reason for that. When Batman was created in 1934, 1935, there was a place for a millionaire who had gone to Japan to study ninjutsu, who came back to the States and built a persona meant to instill fear in criminals. And from that persona and his cunning use of radio technology, he would keep his finger on the pulse of crime in the big city. And then when he found out what was going on, he would use the art of disguise to get the dirt on them. And then he'd get them. And then he'd tie him up. And then he'd leave him for the police with a note saying, hey, something cool. So you knew it was Batman, right? Batman wasn't able to beat up armored suits. Batman wasn't able to beat up Superman. Batman could not outrun the Flash. But today, all those things are false. Batman now regularly beats up Thanos or whoever the DC equivalent. Oh yeah, Darkseid. He beats up Darkseid. Well, wait, Darkseid hits him with the Omega beams, and Batman gets back up again. It's like, yeah. Morgan Freeman can design better than the evil god of half a galaxy. So it's like that. What happened was, you moderns changed Batman from a caped crusader using ninjutsu to master, to own the night, right? And to surprise his enemies, to gather information, intel, and to get absolutely rock-tight cases so when he left them tied up in front of Commissioner Gordon, you knew they were going to jail. Yeah, that's Batman. But Batman was different from Superman, who was another creature of the times, the Ubermensch, created as an American with dark hair instead of a German with blonde hair. Yeah, that's what it was about, too. The perfect man. And of course, in America, we knew that the perfect man has to come from somewhere else because we are a nation of immigrants. Those of us who aren't immigrants have been abused so badly by the federal process that you no longer have an identity. Struggling to find it. God bless you, do. But yeah, the government treats you shitty, really badly, you indigenous Americans. And the Canadian government does it to Canada. Look up the highway of death and find out how Canada treats its people of color. So, and we're the good guys. So imagine how bad it is for the bad guys. Ooh, they must be like Dr. Evil. So anyway. So Batman could not exist today in the form he was in the 1930s. He couldn't drive a supercharged 16-cylinder car around and outrun the police because the police have helicopters. They have infrared cameras. Batman cannot become invisible anymore. Using technology of the times available to, let's scale that millionaire up to a billionaire and say he can buy anything he wants from the arms market. What's he going to get that's going to make him impossible to find by the police? I mean, he's driving into town every night to patrol the rooftops. He's going to be as visible as a half-dressed hooker at 4 a.m. in front of the police station, because that's where you drop them, you know, make sure they don't die from all the fun. Men are monsters, I gotta tell you. But so anyway, the police know Batman's coming to town every night. The police know he's going to be patrolling the city, and he has to do it with some kind of shooting line and swing over, you know, like Spider-Man, but not Spider-Man. Like Stan Lee knew about Batman when he created Spider-Man. He knew about him. because Batman had existed for 30 years. Spider-Man was a newcomer. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created Spider-Man, but Bob Kane created Batman back in the 30s, and Schuster and Siegel created Superman back in the 30s. So they were icons by the time Marvel Comics began. So Stan Lee had a leg up on the competition, so to speak, because he took everything they had and he changed the colors and, changed a few words around, pretty much had the same system going, right? Yeah. But I'm talking about Batman and why in the 1930s he could drive a big fast car, stay ahead of the police, hide out in his millionaire's mansion, and deal with any sort of bad guy. Machine gun armed bad guys, pistol armed bad guys, shotgun armed bad guys, poison gas armed bad guys, with his doggone Japanese trained dukes. That's right. Hiya, Kermit. Ha, karate chop to the neck. Hiya. Hiya. Speaking of hitting people in the head with your karate chop there, your shuto. I don't want to do it because I'll hurt my hand. But anyway, speaking of that, your head is your most resistant structure on your whole body. Your head is best designed to take impact, including punches and kicks. But your hand is the worst designed piece of equipment on your whole body for being used as a club. Batman's hands, if he used them to punch bad guys out night after night after night, they wouldn't be very good for dancing, which he was supposed to be doing as a millionaire playboy, and then later as a billionaire playboy. Whoa. I bet now he doesn't even go out among women. He just buys Japanese love dolls in every size he likes. Because you can't trust the human people, right? They all want your money. My life is complex. Yeah. So anyway, so the Batman of the 1930s was a very distinctive character for a distinctive reason, because Superman had superpowers. We needed a hero that people could relate to that didn't have superpowers. And that was Batman. Wow. Let's go up through several iterations. And we have today's Batman that fights Superman one-on-one. Bang, ba-dum-dum. Whack, whack, Superman goes down. Yeah, Batman gets hit by a Superman punch. Hi, Roman. Batman gets hit by a Superman punch. And his armored suit, by the way, hi, Iron Man, goes flying backwards. See, here's how it goes full circle, right? Because Stan Lee learned from the guys in the 30s. And then DC Comics learned from Stan Lee. And I steal stuff right and left. There is no such thing as intellectual property. Just write Eshkalar on the back of a $100 bill. Thank you, Eshkalar. That's all you need to do. And I'll keep giving you content anyway. Even if you don't send me $100. But these guys, you got to pay them money for worse and worse content every time. Well, but look how great the drawings are. Well, they're not really that much better. The printing process is better. So you're paying for tech. You're not paying for better stories. You're not paying for better illustration. You're paying for better tech. All right, do that. It's not my circus. Those aren't my monkeys. Even though they're biting the faces off of people that you like, I'm sorry you won't let me in the door to help you with this problem. The problem is your Batman is wrong. Today's Batman has an armored suit. How he is quiet, how can a ninja wear an armored suit? He can't. Go watch Japanese anime, you'll see what happens. When you put on the armored suit, suddenly everybody notices you. Everybody. When you walk, you go clunk, 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 and the street goes like this. Because that armored suit weighs 8 tons. It could not. Look at all the systems and equipment it has to have on it. Unless you have gravity reduction, or gravity mitigation, or even better, inertial mitigation. Because when you take a Superman punch, your armored suit instantly changes direction. It wanted to stay at rest. An object at rest wants to remain at rest. That's Newtonian physics. Well, now they call it Newtonian mechanics because they're all cool now and they think that they're better than Newton, who was basically just a plagiarist with a very good math sense. Many people were developing calculus in those days. He stole all their work, published first, became famous. Then he said, I only see so far because I stand on the shoulders of giants. Which was him spitting in the face of the people whose research he stole. This is a real story. Go look it up. This is why people don't recognize how badly they've been treated by education, how they could have been taught stuff that they could use. But instead, they were taught cold facts that don't hold up under the hard light, the harsh light of scrutiny. You know, American patriotism. How is that different than Soviet patriotism? How is that different than Nazi patriotism? How is that different than Mexicanos fighting the government forever because the government abuses them so bad that they can't get a word in edgewise and they can't get a decent life? They're patriots too, you know. Yeah, they are. So, the only one I can think of out of all those guys that isn't a patriot is Pablo Escobar. I mean, really, if you release hippos on the world, you are not a patriot. It doesn't matter. Well, unless you release it against your enemies. But Pablo is releasing hippos to his friends or his clientele. And hippos, I'm not sure if you realize it, hippos kill a lot of people every year. They're one of the big killers in Africa. Yeah. Because a hippo could just bite you in half. It doesn't have to be a carnivore. It just has to want to bite you in half. Go look at a hippo sometime. And watch what happens when they throw them a watermelon. You get a lot of power and giant tusks. And they're mean. They're mean. They're not nice. They're not friendly piggy. They're mean piggy. So a hippo will turn on you in an instant. And you're dead. That's why you shouldn't keep one for a pet, Pablo. That's why when you let other people take care of them as pets and you don't pay attention to them, Pablo, they get stupid, Pablo, and they aren't safe to be around, Pablo. And then your people let them into the jungle, Pablo. You're a frickin' idiot. I don't care how rich you are. Proof positive that rich people aren't any smarter than poor people. And sometimes a lot dumber because they're entitled. And entitlement makes you stupid. It really does. Ask Hillary Clinton. You think I'm lying. I'm making total sense here. So, if you no longer have to use your survival skills, they atrophy. If you don't know what that means, it's okay. That's why I'm here, to help. So, Batman couldn't exist in today's world. In today's world, they had to reinvent him as a different guy. He's no longer Batman, a guy that's specialized in ninjutsu, that wears a cloth outfit with some gadgets on his belt, that punches out bad guys with his hands, has fist fights every night, shakes people down for information, right? Yeah, shakes down the squealers. The squealers never get revenged upon, I guess. It must be okay. Not like the real world, where squealers disappear. They get wrapped in a rug and introduced to the bottom of the river. If you don't think that's true, then you haven't been paying attention. So, heck, heroin addicts end up like that. And they're not squealing. They're just trying to get a little free junk because they don't have any money this week. And the dealer's really pissed at them for owing him money. And he has them wrapped in a rug and tossed in the river. And that sends all the other junkies a lesson. It does. They don't know where that guy went, but they know where that guy went. A couple of us remember a girl that happened to. Yeah, for real. So anyway, Batman couldn't exist today. He would be so much more empowered. Imagine having the miracle of the internet and real-time reporting and all that stuff at your fingertips. Imagine how scattered your brain would be trying to follow all the things going on at once and to make sense of them. Who's got the intellect for that? Well, Batman, of course. Why? Well, because I don't know, his parents were murdered in front of his eyes, so he's got special brain. That isn't how it works, kids. It really isn't. But if you believe that's how it works, why does Batman today need a metal suit and fight Superman instead of beating up gangsters in the street like he's supposed to, like he always did? Well, because your Batman's wrong. A Batman, billionaire playboy, who has a big armored suit and can fight the biggest superheroes on Earth or off Earth with it, right, is Iron Man. Yeah, he is. He's frickin' Iron Man. Tony Stark, billionaire playboy, makes his own super suits. Yeah. Fights the Hulk. The Hulk fights Tony Stark and is ripping pieces of his armor off, and there's more pieces attaching itself, so the Hulk never gets to the core of that Russian doll, right? You can't pop Tony Stark's head off because armor keeps forming up as the. And it's funny because the Hulk is a living cancer. So no matter how hard you beat him up, he keeps healing faster than you can beat him up. He's a gamma powered cancer. Yeah, you don't know that because your superheroes are wrong. They've been misinterpreted to you. But that's what it was. The Hulk was cancer caused by gamma radiation. A cancer so pernicious that it cannot be slain. Yeah. Oh, where does his specifics come from as a person? One day, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were smoking weed, which you did in New York in those days. Stan Lee had just been reading the papers, and he went like, "Little green men from outer space, Jack." I know. Let's make a big green man from inner space. And that's how the Hulk was born. Think about it. Realize that Eshkalar is a genius, a once in a lifetime genius, and that you're lucky that he's got a YouTube channel so you can watch. And I just do it for you, not for the money, for you. Because you're worth it. Google doesn't think so. Google only thinks you're worth your wallet. I think you're worth it for the beautiful human being that you are inside. Yeah, you got me fooled. So, Batman couldn't exist today. Even though he'd be so connected, he wouldn't be able to get to New York in the Batmobile in 5 minutes from his palatial mansion outside of town. No way. It would take him an hour to get into town. So by the time he's in town, the event that he's coming to thwart is over. The standoff is done. The hostages have been released. The perpetrators have been wrapped up and put in irons. Batman is not needed. So instead, he would have to come in, park the Batmobile in a garage, in a parking garage. No one saw him come or go. And then patrol the rooftops somehow. You know, some of those rooftops are pretty far apart. You're not going to make them easy unless you got rockets on your shoes. Yeah. With propellers on his heels, he's the science fiction pixie from a strange atomic race. Batman, the kid. Oh, no, it's not. That's Dodo. That's right. But anyway. So Batman couldn't exist in the city as it exists today. The city's too big. The buildings are too tall. The difference between their sizes is too great. He couldn't swing from this building to that building. Yay! Splat! Because inertia still happens. And no matter how much of a super genius he is, he doesn't have inertial compensation yet. Or else he'd be building starships. And if he was building starships, he probably wouldn't be hanging around Earth. He'd be out looking for, green galactic women like Captain Kirk. Angelique Pettigrew. Baby, was she cute, huh? Yeah. She was 19 when they met her. Everybody was having sex all the time backstage. Oh, man. She finally realized that her appeal was such that as a sex object, she was more important than she was as an actress, so she became a porno star at like 40. I have no idea how much money she made in either of her realms. But apparently she'd been so heavily sexualized by her surroundings that she ended up figuring, hey, why don't I just do the deed on camera and get paid for it? Wow. There's an industry that'll burn you out quick, won't it? But go back and look at her when she was like the green girl. She was cute as hell. Go back and look at her when she was like Torpedo Tits in the Game Masters of Triskelion with the pulsating brains. 500 Quatloos say the humans are untrainable and must be destroyed. Was he right or what? True story. So, your Batman is wrong. Batman couldn't exist today. He couldn't hide today. He could not hide today. Even though you could say, I never see Gumby and Bruce Wayne in the same spot. There is no correlation between Gumby and Bruce Wayne. However, Batman and Bruce Wayne, there seems to be some correlation now that we have face recognition software. Just that iron chin could get him in trouble. Yeah. So anyway, Batman that can beat up Superman with kryptonite-powered punches, that's Metallo. That's not Batman. Understand. Copyright infringement, Batman. That's Metallo. Did you buy his rights? I don't think so. And then you became a Superman bad guy instead of a good guy who protects the average person with your no superpowers. That ain't how it is anymore. Now you beat up the Green Lantern. Now you beat up Superman. Now you run faster than the Flash. Now you no longer have any meaning at all, except for some talentless hacks that don't know how to write a movie. but got a giant special effects budget. And that's why you're Batman. Is wrong. Hi, I'm Eshkalar, the world's greatest Canadian wizard, and if I didn't step on somebody's toes today, I ain't working hard enough.